Psalm 51. I recognise my shameful deeds, they haunt me day and night. Not only does David recognise that he is personally accountable for his own sin, the things that he has done deliberately, but he sees that what he's done is horrible to God. I've sinned against you and my deeds are against me. That's the kind of double play that's going on. He makes an assessment based on his conscience. But you could make an assessment based on your intellect, couldn't you? Somebody said this to me one time, that's why I'm thinking about it today. You see, this is the principle. Can you deny that good comes out of evil? Good does come out of evil, doesn't it? Like, for example, hospitals are built because of pain and suffering. Schools are built because of ignorance and illiteracy. And a bushfire burns and it destroys the forest, but it nourishes the ground, right? Good comes out of evil. It ain't just as simple as saying this is the bad, this is the good. And even moral evil can create a good consequence. Like when Peter sinned in denying Jesus, and Jesus had said, when you turn again, you will comfort your brothers. And even the saying where it says, the comfort with which you have been comforted. Do you see how it turns round? It's just not as simple as we think about it. And even here, David's crime, David's sin, was a place that he arrived at where he could begin to understand more about God, more about grace, and even today this psalm still speaks to us about the same things. Good can come out of evil. So, is evil God's instrument for good? You see, there's only one God. There's only one Lord over all. And all things are in his hands. What we're dealing with here is not a kind of a boxing match between God and the devil, and one of the other might win. God is supreme. The devil is under his feet. And the prayer in the New Testament, and soon he will be under your feet. So it's not an equal corner, now in the red corner, now in the blue corner or something. God is supreme. So is, as this man said to me, is evil not used by God for good? Was Judas an agent of God every bit as Paul? Do you think? Don't evil men do God's will? If God is supreme, if God is sovereign, doesn't he turn? The devil meant it to harm. God used it for good. God meant it for good. So, all right. So why should I blame my sin if God is using it to produce some good out of this circumstance? If good and evil are the same instruments of God, like the career criminal and the upright citizen, are they not both tools of an implacable sovereign who will have his way despite anything? Well, that's the assessment of the mind. It's a bit of a kind of almost a hypothetical game that we play, and somebody said those things to me, and that's why I'm talking about it now. But the Bible teaches about conscience, and we cannot help but believe that if we are created by God in his image, then the things that we see and feel about good and evil are the things that God feels about good and evil, right? And what we feel and understand is a reflection of what God has put inside us. And the things that we call true and just are in fact true and just in his sight. And the things that seem vicious and mean and despicable are so to him. And that's how we act and how we live, and anything else is just mind games, isn't it? I'm sure you can see the point of what I'm saying, but ultimately he said, no. It says in Proverbs, woe to the one who moves boundary stones. We live in a society that makes good into evil, that might just sort of say glibly, almost without any thought, abortion is justifiable under these circumstances. A war is justifiable. Death of an innocent is justifiable under these circumstances. These animals must die so that we can get a perfume that doesn't create a disease in our eye when we spray it on. Do you see how wicked it is to move the boundary stones between what's good and evil and say, oh, well, God can use these circumstances. Well, he uses them, sure. And all things work together for good to those that love God and are called according to his purpose, Romans 8:28. But that does not make the thing in itself less evil. And sin is, according to this Psalm 51, it is against God. I have done what is evil in your sight. Against you and you only have I sinned. And it's an opposition to God's will. And it's a contradiction of the nature that he put inside me. Here's the bottom line. God hates sin and he will not tolerate it. And so we arrive where David is right now, searching his mind, searching his heart, and reaching out for his God. Amen. God bless you.